Hello everybody and welcome to Carnival World Talk episode number 4. Nos with da, for anybody who has been watching I'm a Celebrity. That might give you just a little bit of a clue to our guest this week. Lisa Thomas, who now judges for GBBTA but presently was with Ruth and Debonaires and started her journey with Clwydian Royals. Lisa talks about her time being a ballroom dancer, of all things, and explains how she come into judging, how she started Ruth and Debonaires, and obviously all the good moments and memories with Clwydian Royals. I really hope you enjoy this episode with Lisa Thomas. So, Lisa Thomas, thank you very much for participating, and I know it didn't take much persuasion because you love being on the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So, over to you. Let's hear a little bit about you.
So, I was 8, I think, when I first started dancing. I started with Mrs. Lewis with Clwydian Royals. My first dance out, I was really geared up for going, and I couldn't go because I was a bridesmaid on that day. And that was my first comp. And it was Rhythm Carnival. And
On the doorstep.
it was on, and I could actually see the competition because it was in the park, and I could see the competition because the wedding was in the Rhythm Castle. So we were all looking down at the park, and I could see everybody, like all the troops and everything, and the carnival coming in, and it was just, I was heartbroken because that was my first ever dance that I should have been doing, and I couldn't go. And that was 1978.
Wow.
So, and that was Morris dancing.
Oh, okay.
That was,
So
yeah,
was
I
the
started
majorettes,
with
yeah.
Morris dancing. So I was 4th from the back in Tinies. That's how small I was.
Yeah.
And there were Mrs. Lewis did Morris dancing, entertaining. Michaela's mum danced. I'm sure she was one of the leaders, junior leader, I think, Michaela's mum,
Wow.
entertaining. And Auntie Pauline danced as well. She was dancing Morris dancing. Yeah, she danced Morris. And then we kind of went through that, and then a couple of years later, Mrs. Lewis packed it all in because they'd been to a comp somewhere. We had a big double-decker bus. We called it Humphrey. Every bus we had a name for it. Wow. And one of the girls stepped off the bus and got hit by a car. And it absolutely knocked Mrs. Lewis for 6. She was absolutely fine, but it upset her, and she packed it in. So I then went on to do ballroom dancing, and I did that for a long, long time. Wow. And, well, from ballroom dancing, there's a lot. There's a lot. From ballroom dancing, I actually, when I was a little bit older, I did a bronze grade in teaching. So I got my bronze medal in ballroom dance teaching. Well, it was more like freestyle dance teaching. That was a lot later on. And then kind of moved on from there when that all kind of dwindled out. And then all the old girls, as we were getting older, Mrs. Lewis had contacted us and said, come and meet us in this hall. We've got this thing going on with sticks. And we were all like, huh? What's going on? Anyway, her and Auntie Barbara, who is Lisa Myers' grandmother, they'd been somewhere and seen these majorettes. And of course, she got it into her head, brought it back to Rhythm. We all got phone calls, and we went to this training hall. And of course, Willie and Danny came down and, you know, helped us, cut a long story short, helped us sort it out. I think it was through Derek Roberts that they'd got hold of Willie, must have been. And that's how Clwydian Royals Majorette started. Wow. We went with Carnival Guild of Wales we went with. I'm old school. I'm going back early 1980s now. Yeah. So Derek Roberts, Mrs. Kearns, Mrs. Waring. And that's how I got to meet Colin and Wendy from PDA, because Colin was Van Gogh Jazz Band. Yeah. All the same age. We got really friendly with Van Gogh as the years went on. We were friendly rivals. It was like, you know, they won, we won, they won. That's how it went every week. Pontins. We all went to Pontins. Everybody goes to Pontins, don't they? Yeah.
So how did you come about being like the chosen one, so to speak, to take it over? How did that come about?
I wasn't.
Oh, right, okay.
I did it. I took it on myself. As the years went on, Mrs. Lewis had seniors, and then Mags had Dufferin Majestics, which were the juniors, and then girls come and go. It's a small town, so they both kind of folded. And I was still like so passionate about dancing, I just couldn't let it go. So I decided I was going to start my own troupe. And that's when Celtic Crusaders were formed then. Me, Lisa Myers, Michaela. We dabbled a bit. We didn't really do a lot. We did a few comps. I actually got my first set of uniforms from Netherley Legionettes. Jimmy actually phoned me up and said that they were packing in, come and get these uniforms. So off me and Shane trundled to Netherley, got lost, found Jimmy's house. I mean, we'd known Jimmy and Colette from obviously Clwyd Royals days, because we got really friendly with them in the Isle of Man and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I got my first set of uniforms from, for me to have my own troupe.
Yeah.
And we just dabbled a little bit, did a bit with David Hall, a bit with Colin and PDA, nothing major. And then I would say 2 years, maybe 3 years later, we actually went for it with like Rhythm Debonaires, and that's the rest is history there, really, because it just went boom from there. It took us a long time to get where we were with Rhythm Debonaires, but we got there. I'll never forget our first win in Chadderton. I'll never forget, we were all screaming. You kind of get to the results and it's like in third place, and then somebody else is like, and you think, oh God, that's it, we've blown it now. There's no way you're going to win. And that was our first major win in Chadderton with PDA. It was just amazing, and from there it just stormed for 2 years. We absolutely dominated Division 2 PDA and GBBTA when we went with Albert. It was just win after win after win after win. Yeah.
So obviously you were still Clwyd Royals when you started with Albert, though, wasn't it? Was it?
We were.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mrs. Lewis was still with us then, because she retired. When she actually did retire, she didn't want us to carry on the name as such. So that's when Rhythm Debonaires were born, yeah.
And was it just kind of, obviously, again, through the passion, it was just like, we just need to keep going, keep something for, you know.
Yeah. Mrs. Lewis she was tired. She was really tired. She used to come with us. She'd still come with us, and God, did we know it. She was, her and Auntie Pauline together were a pair of buggers. But yeah, such really good times. Yeah.
And obviously great advice, isn't it? You know, she's been there, she's done it. Having somebody like that on your doorstep.
Yeah.
You know, it's remarkable.
Was she 94, 95 now?
Wow.
Yeah, and she still drives. You see her in a car, and you're like, she's like 5 miles an hour down the road. All right, Hilda. It's great.
Yeah, it's just, it is amazing. And obviously, it wasn't just the seniors, was it? You know, you had younger lines as well, and obviously dominated the juniors. I remember that year as well.
Juniors, seniors first started. Juniors, Lisa Myers took them, and then she was into her dogs then. So that's when Carrie took over, which was Catherine's mum. Yeah. So she took the juniors, and they just boomed straight to the top. Yeah. And then about halfway through the year, we took Tinies as well. And Tinies won first time out. It was just an amazing feeling. We had 2 hat tricks with PDA, one after another. And I just remember running over to Michael. Michael was on a stall somewhere, and I ran over to him and I just planted this big smacker on his lips, and he's like, we were just so excited. Yeah. 2 hat tricks in 2 weeks. It was amazing.
Yeah. And was it, did the girls always want to dance, or, you know, from obviously you, dancing and everything you'd achieved from it, was that something you wanted to carry them onto it, or did you just let them make their own decision?
My girls?
Yeah.
My girls were dragged into it from the day they were born.
No questions.
No, Sophie was too young. She never danced.
Yeah.
We had a little babies troupe, but we only used to put them out for like displays.
Yeah.
And Sophie would be in that. Leisha danced from day one. She was always junior mascot, and she was blooming good at it as well. I remember first time in GBBTA in Blue Dolphin. It might have been.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
And Alicia was on the entry line, and everybody had poured into the room to watch the juniors dance, and she just froze. She was like, "I'm not going on, Mum. I'm not going on." And I said, "You bloody are. You don't get on that floor, I'm going to kick you off." And she's like, "I can't remember the dance. I can't do it. I can't do it." And Michael and Gillian were both there. "Alicia, you've done this dance hundreds and hundreds of times."
Yeah.
She just completely froze because the room was just full. Anyway, I just ignored her and I said to Michael, "Put the music on, it's fine." And she went on.
Yeah.
And she got best mascot as well, so, But it was the nerves, wasn't it? She just froze.
It's just the way it goes, isn't
it? Yeah. But they have been dragged into it since day one.
Yeah.
My kids.
And I was Shaq with everything, because obviously it's a big undertaking for home life, isn't it? I've always stressed in these podcasts that majorettes never turns off. There's never like a time away. There's always like something going on or something happening, or you're someone's agony aunt or advice, and obviously home life has to take that into it, you know what I mean?
Shane always used to get left behind, but once we were in GBBTA, it was like I kind of dragged him, and he's part of the team now, isn't he, Shane? He loves it. He loves it. But early days when we were out competition every weekend, where have you gone? There you are. He'd be, he'd just stay at home and whatever, and then, I'd phone him and I'd say, "Yeah, we came third. Yeah, we came first," and he'd go, "Oh yeah, whatever."
That's our Shane.
Yeah, but then GBBTA, he's with us. He's part of the GBBTA family now, isn't he?
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? There's nobody in your family. You have to bring them with you.
It's a family. It is a family thing.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. I remember taking Sophie in the pram. I'm sure we were dancing in Runcorn, and she couldn't have been much older than 2.
Yeah.
And I said to Auntie Pauline, "What's that spot on her head there?" I mean, don't forget, I was working. I was a mum. I was running a troupe. I was dancing. Auntie Pauline said to me, "That looks like chicken pox." I was like, "Nah."
Oh,
By the time we were at results, poor Sophie was covered in chicken pox from head to toe.
Oh my God.
There's nothing I could do.
Yeah.
Stuck in a cot.
Oh my God. So
Crazy.
So they're moving forward. Obviously, a lot of history with Rutland Debonaires. How did that end? What was like a mutual thing, or was it just numbers?
My girls were getting older, going out, getting drunk, having babies, life.
Yeah.
So numbers were starting to dwindle, and I said to Carrie, "I can't carry on with this. It's not. The tinies we only had for one season, and your younger girls are your bread and butter."
Yeah.
And a lot of my junior girls danced in my senior line as well. So it was kind of a lot of the old senior girls were growing up and wanting to move on. So that's when we decided enough was enough, and we ended on a high.
Yeah.
So that's when we decided to pack it all in. So yeah.
And then
but we'd had fantastic years with it. It was great. We couldn't take them any further than what we had, I don't think. So.
And then how long was it before you were twisted into judging?
About 24 hours.
It didn't take long then.
No. I'd already spoken to Albert, and I'd said that this is what me and Carrie were going to do, and he said, "Okay, that's fine," because we were dancing with GBBTA at the time. You see, we dominated there as well. We'd got Junior Troop of the Year, Senior Troop of the Year. senior mascot of the year. You know, we had them all, and most entertaining troupe of the year. So, you know, we did end on a high. And I remember phoning Albert and I said, look, you know, we're packing it in. And he was like, oh, that's devastating for you. And I was like, well, no, we've had a good time. You know, it's time to let go now. And then he said, okay, then. And then the next day he rang me and he said, so you coming judging then? I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't. No, I'm trying to say goodbye. I'm trying to, like, you know, let go. And he was like, okay, then we'll see you soon then. And then I had another phone call and he said, so have you come, you and Carrie coming judging? So that's how it came about. So, yeah.
So when was that? How long have you been judging with GBBTA now?
Oh my God. Was it 10 years? We had the 10-year anniversary?
Yeah, so that was 2017 or 2018 maybe. GBBTA is established 2017, I think, was that Ponds Forge comp in the November. Yeah.
I got third leader dance there. It was amazing. That was a really, really good comp. We sat with the Larkettes all day.
Yeah, so that was his first comp, wasn't it? And then it sprung from there.
So, God, I think I've been judging 10 years.
Wow.
Or maybe coming up to 10 years.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I prefer judging more than running a troupe.
Yeah.
Running a troupe is 24/7. It's hard going.
Yeah.
You know, what majorettes is in your blood, you get itchy feet. And I think if Albert hadn't have said and pushed me and Carrie to come judging, we'd probably be struggling now with another troupe because you can't let go. So I think it was the right decision to go judging because you still see everybody. The passion is still there with you.
Yeah. And I think as well, GBBTA's, how do I describe it? The kind of layout of how the year goes, it's just right, isn't it? You know, it's like a weekend away, couple of day comps, a weekend away.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're not like every Sunday, like battering it down or, you know, because sometimes
outside in the rain.
Yeah. Like, I know, you know, you've obviously got 1,000,001 memories of like dancing, you know, being like cold, wet through. And obviously you wouldn't take that away because, you know, that's how everyone started and it happens. But obviously it's nice to still have your finger in it and not have to be like, you know, wet or stodging in the grass or things like that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I suppose the only difficult thing for you is you live so far from A, Oldham and B, Blackpool, so it's a really long day when it comes to it.
Carrie rings me and she'll say, "I'll pick you up 5:30," and I'll go, "Okay then."
And you've had you know, 2 or 3 parties the day before.
Yeah, I know. Work is just and it's like, oh my God. And then you don't get home till like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night as well after the comp. It's a long day.
Yeah.
It is a long day.
You've got to like unwind after it, and obviously and that's what I mean about that kind of happens. I mean, you've got like another 3 or 4 weeks before the next one, so you kind of like recharge yourself. And you're like, right, okay, I'm ready to do that, you know, slog of a day again. But you know, like it's exactly like what you said about majorettes being in your blood. You wouldn't change it. Do you know what I mean? You know,
absolutely. I'm whacked for days after Blackpool weekend. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God,
exactly how you feel.
It's an absolute killer.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't think people like understand a lot really when, you know, you do complain about being tired because you are like from the Friday, you know, you get there and it's like solos and duos, and then it's like full day judging on a Saturday evenings, like, you know, agenda of stuff now, and then it's like Sunday, and then it's presentation, and then obviously for you go home on the Sunday, so ready for work. Exactly. So I know for me, every Blackpool on a Sunday, I only did this last year, go into Blackpool on a Sunday, because for the past 2 years I was just going to sleep. As soon as the presentation finished and the van was packed, I was going to sleep till the next day.
No, everybody's whacked, aren't they? It's
just a killer of a time. But that's why we do it. You know, we know now through everything that's going on,
Yeah.
we wouldn't. I suppose we wouldn't have it any other way. I suppose.
I love it. I love it. I have missed it so much this year. I really have. Yeah.
So
I really have.
I think obviously that's been a little bit about you and how you started. I'm excited to hear some memories that you might have. Because obviously you're from a generation who's, like we spoke to everybody about the Isle of Man days and things like that. You've been able to live it all. So
done it all.
Away you go.
Isle of Man. Isle of Man, danced in Summerland, danced in the Lido. I've danced in Winter Gardens. I've danced in the ballroom.
Yeah.
In the Tower. Done them all. Yeah, absolutely. Collegiate Royals in the 80s with Mrs. Lewis were good times. We only started off small as well, and then went to Isle of Man, joined with Marion Murphy, and then we started doing a couple of her comps as well. And I'll never forget first time seeing pipers. I can't even remember where we were. I'm sure it was Manchester somewhere. I remember being a massive racetrack route, very similar to like Chadderton, but more of a field with a racetrack outside. And this new troupe had arrived. We'd never seen them before. And of course, Lee Kirk was there with slippers. She had the slippers on, and she was standing on the edge. She's like, yeah, come on, that's the Lee Kirk we all know and love. But I mean, then when I was like maybe 10 or 12, we were like, who's this mad woman here standing on the edge line shouting for her troupe? Yeah. But that was the first time we saw pipers. And of course, after that, when I had Frith and Debonair's, we became really, really good friends. More memories. Oh my gosh. I remember my best dance was Can with Collegiate Royals. That was one of the best dances we ever did. And then the year after that, we put juniors and seniors together, and we went to the Isle of Man with the tenor sticks.
Okay.
We were one of the first troops to do that then. That was a good routine. We'd had new uniforms that year as well, with the silver bits on the front there.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that video
somewhere. Yeah. Amazing.
And then Sue,
we had a massive trip. We put juniors and seniors together, and it was
wow.
Oh my god, it was like 24 girls on the floor. It was just outstanding.
And then Sue touched on it last week that you did themes as well.
Oh. We used to dread Mrs. Lewis. If she went on holiday, right, Mrs. Lewis would come back with a theme, and we'd be like, oh, God. She went to Greece. You can imagine what she came back with, can't you? Zorba's dance. And we were in this circle. You try getting a bloody circle perfect with girls. Anyway, we perfected it. It was amazing. It was the original Zorba's Greek dance. That was so good. Wow. And then when we reformed, she'd been to see Joseph.
Oh God.
She come to training and she's like, I've got an idea. And we were like, oh my God. I had this bloody coat. Right, and it had, it was exactly the same as Joseph's Technicolor dream coat. She made me lead with a mate, right? And then halfway through this dance, they pull the thing out, don't they? Like that, and all the things come out. It got stuck in my foot, and I'm going round and round and round like that, and it got stuck in my foot, and I'm like, oh, my mace is up in the air like this, and I'm like, I didn't fall, I managed to keep myself, but yeah, she loved the themes. Wow. Not long after I left, she took the space to Isle of Man. Oh, wow. I'm so glad I left that year. Yeah. They had red leotards with this bloody silver thing here, and they were like the old entertaining caps, they were like, and the girls hated them. Oh, but they weren't with it, you see, they loved that kind of thing in the Isle of Man. Yeah. I think Carrie danced that dance. And then she did the Russian, where there was a male and a female. They were like Russian dolls, Cossack dancers.
I think I've heard from the Carnival World, the Great Britain site that Craig runs. I've seen a few stories on there as well.
They were too, fantastic. And then she did the French, which she put the can in, and the girls were all dressed in like French tarty uniforms and stuff. Wow. So, but that was after I'd left. before I went back. So yeah, Clewigan Royals have always, whatever they've done, they were always like top of the game. Amazing. Yeah.
Wow. I suppose it's just not. I suppose it's like a testament to our time, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everything, even from training you and everything that you've learned from it all, putting that back into your own troop and seeing the results from that. It's amazing, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. When she was 90, obviously the last couple of years we've been trying to revolve Ruthin Carnival, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've always had a small parade, but when she was 90, we managed to get her out on the street, and I got a load of all the old Clewigan Royals back.
Oh, wow.
We just got Clewigan Royals on the T-shirts, and we paraded on the street for her. She was crying. She was just in bits. Yeah, that was nice. Wow. That was nice.
And I suppose, because the population of the town is, small.
4,000.
Oh, yeah. There you go. So, for all of this to happen, I suppose it's just putting the town on the map, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everything that happened from the Isle of Man, and then, obviously, not too long ago that it was still going. It was, it is what it is. So then,
Ruthin Debonaires, we did a lot of charity work as well, and we got nominated for a community award, community champions or something like that. But you have to get loads and loads of votes. We were dancing with PGA at the time, so we just banged it out there and said, vote for us, for us, and we actually won. And then we had to go to Llandudno to this big evening ball thing to collect the award. And they said to me, "You actually won by a landslide victory." And I was like, I'm not surprised, because we just got the whole of the PDA to vote for us. It was just amazing. And when we got there, me and Carrie took one go, because we were only allowed 3 tickets. And Bob Champion was giving out the awards, Bob Champion, the jockey.
Yeah.
And me, Nicola and Carrie were stood around this cocktail table, and Bob Champion made a beeline for us. We didn't have a clue who he was. And we were having a drink, waiting to go in, right? And this bloke, "Hi, I'm Bob." We were like, "Hi." He said, "Oh, I'm giving out the awards tonight. Would you ladies like a drink?" We were like, "Yeah." Okay. So we went off, got us a drink. He came back and he was like, "What's your name?" And we were talking to him. Next minute, I just went, spat my drink out, realised who he was, and I was like, Bob Champion. Just realised who he was. Anyway, he was with us for most of the night. We went and had the awards ceremony, and then he stayed with us most of the night. And we do actually think he had a thing for Carrie that night. I do really think that. Yeah, I think he wanted Carrie to stay the night in the hotel. But no, that was a fantastic night, that was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Bob Champion.
So, there's obviously a couple of Clywyddian Royal memories there. Memories with Ruthin Debonaires, I suppose. It's some that I can kind of relate to a little bit, obviously knowing you from the PDA
a little
days.
Bit.
Yeah. A lot, maybe.
Jordan.
Yeah.
I need a piece of music.
The odd times, and then it would resolve in coming off for a chippy. And I'll just pick it up from Chester train station.
Yeah, Mackie's on the way back. Chippy on the way in training. They were good times.
Yeah, I think the friendship then, stemming from that between us, it's something I'll never forget. You know what I mean? The bond, and obviously being able to see you more with GBBTA now, and yeah, I don't know what to say really, because I suppose I explain this to my friends who don't understand just how effective majorettes is on life. Do you know what I mean? And exactly what you touched on before about kind of seeing that carnival happening and not being able to do anything about it. There are moments in life where your life revolves around majorettes, and I used to get that a lot, where it'd be like, oh, we're all doing this, and you'd be like, oh, I can't. And it'd be like, why? And then you're like, it's hard to explain. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And you'd be like, what? You don't want it? And you're like, no, I think I'd rather do that.
Top of the list, isn't it?
And that's what I was saying. And holidays and everything else, it all stems around like that first thing is like after kind of Pontins finishes, it's like, right, I'm booking a holiday for next year. What date is Pontins? Whenever would you think about like a trip away or whatever, or like you're like, oh, my boyfriend's booked a nice weekend and it's this date, and you're like, well, that's Pontins, and then like, oh, he's not gonna have to change it then.
Yeah, so that's right. And my work diary, like as soon as Albert puts the dates out for like next year or whatever, they're in the diary. And I mean, we do a lot of kids parties at weekends, and if I've got somebody that says I want a party that weekend, I'm like, sorry, can't do it. I'm not here.
I know.
It just takes over priority.
I know. And it's just like, I don't think nobody who's not in the circle, so to speak, would ever truly understand like the money side of things that you jeopardize, so to speak, just because that's what you want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it. I know myself. I've done it loads of times, where I've just been like, no, I can't work Sunday, or I've just like I've slogged myself all week just to have a Sunday off. And again, your day off is to be like in a field, piss wet through, like judging, and you're there basically for the camaraderie and the banter and everything else that we have. It is just second to none. I mean, most of my banter now is with you, and moaning about food in Blackpool most of the
time. Any chance of a bagel patty?
I'll never forget. I don't know if we're going back about 3 or 4 years ago now, and everyone's just sat there, and Albert's like, we're just gonna do these interviews again, and you're like, right, okay, and you've been up since like 5:30, 6. You've just had your breakfast. If you've been able to like scour some type of lunch from somewhere at some time, and everyone's just sat there deflated, like starving.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do it again. I know, literally, you're just like, we sat there and we're just like, when are we gonna get food? And they were like, shh.
I know.
We're trying to film, and you're like, sorry, that's just my belly rumbling. Like, can the officials go yet, or what? Like,
it's hard going, isn't it? It is.
And that's the thing. But exactly like you just said, you would never change any of what happens.
Never.
For it all, because this year more than anything, you've seen, so to speak, like how it all gets taken away.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely heartbreaking this year, and it has actually made me sit down and think of like the past and and what we used to do, and it's like, just hurry up. I'm just missing all my friends. I'm missing everybody so much.
I think as well for me, and I touched on this last week as well, is that like because of it happening so late on, we were only like 2-3 weeks before Blackpool,
ready to go. Yeah.
So it's even more crushing that like it didn't happen in the January or so, and you're like, there was never a chance of that happening or whatever.
I remember phoning Albert up and saying, Alb, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm not making any decisions. I can't let it go. It was hard for Albert, and I was like, but Albert, you've got X amount of people going to be in that room, and it's so dangerous, and it was heartbreaking for everybody, but Albert more so. He really, really did not want to let that first comp go. No. He really did not.
I think as well, from speaking to him as well, I think a lot of it was to do with like troops and their money. He didn't want to say, okay, I'll cancel it, and then the hotel, some clause or whatever, say, well, you cancelled your event, we'll keep all the deposits.
Yeah, he thinks about other people too much, doesn't he?
He really does, do you know what I mean? And I think like that was what I touched on last week when I spoke to Sue about those male figures in the majorette world. They just go above and beyond, exactly what you just said about Willie and Danny, Jimmy with the uniforms. Everybody I've known from a male figure has just been so like given back. Do you know what I mean? Even John Jump as well. There's another name.
Yeah.
Just those even when you speak to John and you're like, yeah, I've got everything in the loft. Uniforms.
Still got
tapes,
all mine in the loft. Got
everything.
all my poms, all my uniforms. Everything's there.
You never get rid of the memories. You know what I mean?
Well,
and you think like, I'm going to clean, and then you're like,
it's a just in case.
Yeah, can't throw them out. Can't part with them. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, might need a reunion one day.
And that's it. You know what I mean? I suppose that's like everyone's like, come on, should we just one last time for old time's sake? And I suppose now, a lot of the girls who wear your senior girls now have all got little babies now, so I suppose it is something that...
Lydia's got 3.
Yeah.
Catherine's having another one next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, little... Wow. Oh, no, I can't remember what no, I don't think she knows what she's having.
Oh,
so she's got maths, doesn't she?
Yeah,
and then she's due next weekend, so...
Oh, bless.
Carrie's on standby. She's in isolation at the minute, though, Carrie.
Oh, is she? Oh, God.
Yeah, don't ask.
Yeah. And how's it been?
We love you, Carrie. We miss you.
Yeah, definitely. We miss you. How did...
Michaela's having another baby.
I did see that, actually. Yeah, I did. It's just touching on Carrie there, how did your friendship develop in terms of running the troupe together? Like, was it always something that the both of you wanted to do, or was it something that you approached her about? Or
yeah. Carrie's like me. She danced. It's in her blood. And because Catherine was leading, she kind of came in, and she was always there. So when Lisa actually left training the juniors, then Carrie said, I'm here, I can help. So that's how me and Carrie came to work together. I've known Carrie since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. So, but Carrie was I was always the one with the big ideas. Let's do this, let's do that. And Carrie would be going, no.
Yeah.
I always wanted a big troupe. I would say, put juniors and seniors together. It worked with Collisions. And she was like, if you think I'm training 20 girls on that line, you've got another thing coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it looks amazing. And she's like, it's easier to train 8 girls and to get them to be absolutely perfect than it is to train 20. And she was always right.
Yeah.
She was always right.
She would always kind of rein in with the ideas and keep her.
Fishing line, get in. Yeah. And I'd be like, but she was always right. Bless her. And it worked. We always worked. We never had one argument ever.
Yeah.
We always worked well together.
I think that's how it stems, a good partnership, isn't it? From one person being that kind of big adventurous person, and the next one being the kind of like down to earth, going, no, that'll never work. And
we did have a bit of a disagreement. Well, it wasn't really a disagreement. It was like the last year when we were kind of dwindling in and out of comps. And we just did Poms because it was just easier. It was fun. We had Poms girls.
Yeah.
And she wanted to do that pyramid drop, didn't she? And I was like, you're going to kill my girls. And she was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Anyway, she got them to do it. We even went to a gym instructor, right? Wow. Local gym instructor in Ripon. And she said, I'm not coming anywhere near you. And we were like, hey. I said to Carrie, you can't do it. I'm not letting you do it. And she was like, watch me. She did it. They were fine. Absolutely fine. But what a fantastic routine that was. That was amazing. We won with that one as well.
Yeah. But it's just, obviously, sometimes you never think of the other disciplines. Obviously, military freestyle was the bread and butter, and then it's like, oh, let's do Poms, or let's do, dance twirl, and then you realise that
hated dance twirl, and Carrie hated Poms, but I love Poms now. I love it. I'm still not a big fan of dance twirl. Yeah. Because I was trained military. That's me. It is the discipline that I was trained with. But Poms, I just love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
When I brought Jason to judge for GBBTA, and after the weekend, he was just like, I'm just converted. He was like...
Just blows me away. It's just so much fun. The energy and the passion on the dance floor.
Yeah. In obviously 6 minutes for seniors. It's... You just pack a punch, do you know what I mean? There's always like a little bit of a gimmick, and it keeps the Just everything just works so well, and what they do to it.
Pom's Showcase is my absolute fave.
Yeah, it's a fantastic, kind of element that was brought into it all. And obviously something that nobody's seen or done before. The first, the GBBTA, it was just like, I don't think anybody could disagree that it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong about it in like a 2.5 minute routine of what, if it's a theme, if it's a whatever, you got that time to just show it.
Yeah.
And like some of the routines that we've seen.
Yeah, I think with my ballroom background and my dance teaching, that kind of, it shines for me. Yeah. That just, I just love it.
I think now,
I just love it.
Maybe, now that people know you got a little background in ballroom, I think people might appreciate it a little bit more now.
There's a lot people don't know about me.
Yeah. I think obviously that's one of the things I like to achieve with this podcast is finding out things that people don't know. Because obviously, everyone sees each other on a Sunday and it's like, and obviously, people know you as like, running a successful business and seeing everything you do on Facebook, but there's not a lot of people know that, like, obviously you danced and not just like recently, it's been a long history, and obviously now with the ballroom side of things,
let's just say I ran out of room to put my trophies.
Wow. And it's just, it just goes to show, doesn't it, really, that it's just carried on for you, with it all.
My battens are still in the kitchen, and Sophie comes home from school, she'll pick it up. She's in the kitchen twirling a baton, and I'm like, put it down, you're gonna smash something. I've been there and done that,
because she's always the first to train the celebrities when it comes to Black.
Oh, she loves it, doesn't she? Yeah, she's got to be there. Yeah. It's like, who's the celebrity going this time, Mum? So, and we never got to see our fave, did we?
No, we didn't. No, Ray? Definitely not. So hopefully, I think Albert's still got him in mind whenever something happens. Yeah. But so then in this kind of last segment, I wanted to talk about like the present day, and obviously you don't run a troupe anymore, but I just wanted to see kind of how do you think lockdowns affected the major world, and how you think it might have affected you if you'd have still been going at this time, because Wales have had a lot more stricter restrictions than what the UK has.
We currently have no pubs.
Yeah.
We came out of lockdown. We were allowed to go out for a couple of weeks, and now the pubs closed. The pubs are closed. Well, they can actually stay open till 6 p.m, but they can't serve alcohol. Wow. I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's good for me because my business will boom now, especially with breakfasts. Like Spoons and that, they've shut. They've decided to close.
Wow, okay.
So we'll do well on that side, but it's just heartbreak. I've got a lot of friends in the pub. Well, I grew up in the pub trade. I've got a lot of friends in the pub trade in town, and it's just heartbreaking to see that. They could potentially lose their livelihood now, and this is where they'd be making money, wouldn't it? Christmas dues and stuff like that. And we don't know when the pubs are going to be able to reopen, and will there be another? Because we had a curfew before this. Everybody had to close at 10. So we've just got no entertainment whatsoever at the minute. Very like work home.
Yeah. And I think as well, for some people, they've been trying to do stuff, but it just hasn't worked, as well for them in terms of like.
Yeah, a lot of people are diversifying at the minute, aren't they, with other stuff?
And, I totally get that you need to just try anything to,
keep going.
Keep
the
kids, the girls, lads, involved, and just say, we are here, and like, even though we're not out on comps, we still want to be able to be seen to be, doing things. Or like I said,
when we did that thing, that pass the baton challenge in lockdown, because nobody knew in the first lockdown. We were all locked away, and that was it, wasn't it? We were all in the same boat together. Yeah. Nobody knew what was going to happen with businesses when we got back.
No.
Oh God, and I had about 4 meltdowns in that lockdown. It really, really affected me, just being stuck at home, because I'm such a doer.
Yeah.
I'm out all the time. And it really did kind of affect me. And when we did that Pass the Baton challenge, that was just kind of picked me up. It's like, oh my God, we're all still here, you know? It's fab. So we got Shaq doing TikToks.
I know, I've seen that. I think now is the perfect time to show one of Shaq's TikToks over this little. And but I think that's, again, TikTok boomed through lockdown because
it
was, people, that was another way of people socializing in terms of like doing these funny dance routines and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of looking forward to seeing a little bit maybe how that might evolve into routines, people.
They do, don't they? I was thinking the same, that one that we were all doing. I was like, I can just somebody's going to put that in their routine.
Yeah,
and you kind of listen to like through the winter season, and then you're coming up to like spring, and all these music themes are in the charts, and you're like, so and so's going to use that. So and so, yeah. This is the one that's going to be doing our head in.
Yeah. I always think sometimes
this is the one we're going to hear 10 troops dancing to the same song.
And sometimes when probably you yourself as well, when you hear a piece of music, sometimes you think, oh, this would be so perfect for this particular team, or imagine doing something to this, and then I suppose like sometimes they're probably the moments where you're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind having a troop, and then sometimes like reality hits. I know, but then sometimes obviously like reality hits.
My head stood up on the back of my neck.
But that's the thing. I do it myself. I listen to a piece of music and I think, oh my God, imagine what someone could do to this. Or
the last year judging in GBBTA, I have heard so many of songs that have taken me back to when I was dancing. And I've looked at you and gone,
I know,
that was my music, and it just takes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah, you just never
really
forget,
does.
Just how much. And I always try to drill that into people about music. It's for me sometimes I hate when you just dance to a piece of music. You just put like a piece of music on and you're just like, yeah, let's just do this, whatever. But like Sophie from Huddersfield Crusaders touched on, it's like thinking, like, oh, look, the music picked up a pace there, or it changed there, or it did something there, and we need to be doing that. And I think
the music take your work.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what? If you've got the best piece of music, you have got the best routine.
Yeah.
If you've got an absolute piece of shit music that's going to make the crowd go.
Yeah, just deflate.
You know what I mean? If you get that crowd going with that music, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
That really is. And Michael, when he had No One Ugly Allowed last year,
yeah,
I was like, that was mine. I had that first. Yeah. No one's ever used that. But yeah, and I just kind of looked at him and I was like,
And that's the thing though, isn't it? Everyone tries to try and use something first, or do something to something first, and then you realise like, oh, maybe we could do something like that, or that piece of music does work in this particular section. I don't know, but that's something I've always just strived upon, is just like musicality, and just
pushing the boundaries.
100%.
There are two troops that do it for me with music like that, and one is Rainbow and the other one is Pipers. They will. Jimmy's really good at choosing his music for but Rainbow are just so outside the box, aren't they? They're just
and I think that comes down to, obviously, a little bit of it is like Mark's theatrical background. Having that, he just knows what to come up with. He knows what works for those girls, and like his musicality, he just thinks of like the show. And
that's what he does. He didn't retire for long, did he?
No, definitely didn't. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna.
How about that?
I think it would either just come to Blackpool and then that'd be it. He'd been sold again. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm leaving the troop, and we were all like,
everyone's
what?
like, hey.
What?
I know.
And then I think within a month he was like,
yeah, they twisted my arm again.
yeah.
But I think,
You see, that's it again. It's in your blood, isn't it?
Yeah.
See?
And I think as well, never in a million years would I think of it ever knowing a troop from Ireland, like coming over to like England to do comps. Do you know what I mean? Like
crazy. It's
and
crazy.
obviously to them it's like another world when they come over. Like seeing them and their reaction and their energy. I think when I first come back to GB and they were there, I think I remember saying like, this just put all my because like you have those moments in life where you just get deflated by the fact that like you just feel like you write the same stuff on people's sheets, or what you say just no one's gonna pay attention to it, and you're just like, what are we here for? And then I was invited back to a weekend for GB, and seeing them I was just like, wow. I was like,
and you can see how much they have listened to their scorecards, haven't they?
Definitely.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
I love. Yeah, is to see a troop that had come and they were at the bottom of the game, and then they go home week after week after week, and every week they come back and you can see an improvement, and it just makes you feel really good, because it's like, well, my job is done there.
Yeah.
And you can see them. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it just makes the judging elements like worthwhile.
Yeah,
it makes you like
absolutely
feel that like what you've wrote is actually working, or it's been able to like go home and be like, oh, Lisa thinks we should do this, let's do it, and then just those little things. You're not saying it because you're saying it for like the good of your health. You're like, look, if you do that, it's going to improve this and it's going to do that for you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The more that happens,
that's what we're there for. Yeah, I
exactly.
remember doing my first senior military judging, and I was with Gary and Gillian. I can't remember who else was judging with me, and we were in Oldham, and the nerves, because I was judging senior 1. The nerves was worse than standing on that entry line, and it was like, I'm not going to be able to find anything here. Yeah. I'm really not. But I relaxed into it. It was fine. I love it. I just love judging.
Yeah. I think sometimes as well with judging, it's like sometimes you either have it or you don't, I feel. Some people can try it and don't like it, and then some people can try it and then love it. Do you know what I mean? And then
absolutely.
It's like giving back that knowledge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do feel like GBBTA does have a lot of knowledge in terms of its judges. In terms of,
definitely.
And things like that.
I remember being in Blackpool. And I can't remember whether it was Larkettes or Pipers. They'd had such a fantastic dance. And I just got so engrossed in the routine. They were going off. And I looked at Albert, and my scorecards was empty. And I just turned my scorecards around that to Albert, and I went, I had nothing on it. There was nothing there.
And again, that's
just so engrossed.
It's those moments.
Watching the routine. So I'm like, I'm meant to be judging here.
Yeah. And they're like the best moments for me. When you watch a routine and it's just making you just want to watch it, and you don't realise that like you've got to have that like judge's head on, so to speak.
Yeah, I usually end up in tears because I just get so emotional. I'm like, oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Like Eastleigh's Comets last dance. Wow.
Yeah,
that was very emotional, wasn't it?
And it was just it's more so as well when you've known a group of people, isn't it? And you feel their emotion as well as. Your own. Do you know what I mean? It's it just makes it all worth it. Like you think like these are the moments that we live for. These little golden moments in our lifetimes where we're like, oh, remember like Eastleigh's last dance. Do you know what I mean? I remember when Jill come back to dance with Larkettes. Remember when the Pipers did the tribute to the Crusaders. Things like that.
Oh that was amazing. And the Larkettes when Donna jumped out of the cave.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
And then of course they've just done the dance with Michael.
Yeah. Just
they were all like memorable birthdays, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And it just shows, doesn't it? You know, obviously, these troops have been around for a long while. It's all about like people who say, "Oh, well, I'm going to give back." Do you know what I mean? And obviously, you did that yourself in terms of like, you know, Clwydian Royals, you know, did all it could, and Mrs. Lewis was like, you know, I'm going to end it here, and then it was like, well, we want to carry on, and you know, obviously give those young girls still a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a nice way to go on. What were you going to say?
So I remember trying to organise the 10-year anniversary for Albert.
Oh yeah.
And we were trying to get all the troops to use 2 pieces of their music, wasn't it? Simply the Best or the Rocky theme.
Yeah, for their exit.
And I remember going over to speak to Auntie Lee. And fine, no problem. Anyway, of course, they did what they did, which was just out of this world. It was outstanding. And she came over to me and she said, "Do you remember that day in Oldham?" And you said to me, "Can you do this? Will you be able to do this?" And she said, "Like hell are you having that, sunshine? You're having the full works," she said to me. And of course, that's what they did. It was just brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah. Really good. Do you remember staying here one night and
going to
coming Filey with us in the charabanc?
Yeah.
And nearly throwing up with Auntie Pauline's driving.
That woman. I mean,
Judith
Chalmers, yeah. That's one person I will never forget from the entire like dancing world, just for the person that she was. Do you know what I mean? There's people in your lifetime that you will never forget, and Judith Chalmers is definitely one of them. Because I remember sometimes
she's still got a tan, and it's like, where have you been?
I know. There's a lockdown going on, you know, Pauline. That's all right. I've been on holiday. She's the only one who's allowed out of Wales.
Yeah, she was the only one that was allowed to go anywhere if we had a comp. It'd be like, well, okay, we'll just have to get someone else to drive, because it was just. It's like, where are you going now? Where have you been? I've just been to Spain. Were you with us when Michaela twice dropped the fruit machine on the way to Filey?
Oh my God.
We always used to stop in the same services halfway up. And beginning of the season, Michaela puts a £1 in the fruit machine, drops the jackpot. We were like,
oh wow!
But she only did it again at the end of season with the same machine.
The same machine. Wow. Better luck for the weekend.
Yeah, drinks wet on her though. She was tight.
Oh, they were good weekends though in those caravans.
Yeah, in the Shalavan.
In the Shalavan, yeah, a lot better than Costa del Norbrec.
Costa del Norbrec.
Yeah.
Take your cleaning products with you. It's like Pontins all over again.
It is. It's literally Pontins in a hotel. It's Pontins that you don't have to step. Yeah. You don't have to step outside for at any point. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can still hear next door. You can still hear people running about in the corridor.
Yeah, the only thing you don't get in the Norbrec is people setting off the fire alarms when they're making bacon in the morning.
Yeah.
We actually came home halfway through with the week, because we're like, Prestatyn's only down the road, isn't it? Came home to get microwaves because there was no microwaves in the rooms.
Did you stay at Pontins, or did you just go? I remember you used to just go home, didn't you?
No, we stayed 1 year. We stayed. It was the year the year the seniors were robbed.
Oh, right. Okay.
When we put POMs into the military routine, and it was we'd had a fantastic year with
for Zachley Feds.
Zachley Feds, they changed the name, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Right Side Zodiacs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And again, you see, fantastic. We were really, really good friends. But my seniors were robbed that day.
Yeah.
Most definitely robbed. But that was the year we won the Supergran Award for the seniors.
Yeah.
And the juniors won Junior Troop of the Year, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
That year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I showered them all in champagne when they got back to the chalet.
Sometimes I don't think...
Yeah, I think they beat us by like half a point or something for
Yeah.
the championships. It was like neck and neck all the way through.
Yeah.
And that's how it's meant to be. That's, fight it out on the dance floor. It's just such good rivalry.
Yeah. It's just, it helps, doesn't it? It's just a healthy competition. And if you're like...
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're there with the best, then you know that, like, neck and neck each week, bum, bum, bum. Then you don't mind when it comes to it, you know what I mean? It's when,
absolutely,
things happen and you see different things and you're a bit like, this is not for me. So, yeah, I think...
Yeah. No, it's good times.
Yeah. If there's anything else you want to share?
I could go on for hours, Jordan.
I always say
I
that.
really could. I could go on for hours.
No,
I've got loads of memories. Yeah. I mean, I remember being in the not in the Isle of Man, in GBBTA in Filey, and we're like just getting home from partying on the Friday night as we just got there, and it's like midnight. And who's next door to us in our caravans was the Larkettes.
Doing their
it's all right, Jill. What you doing? Out they come. Midnight. Jill, what you doing? Making up my Poms routine. What?
Didn't they borrow your? Did they borrow your Poms? Was it?
Lisa, where's your Poms? Here you go. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll never forget something that happened that weekend, and it was. Do you remember when Vicky Doran used to judge for Albert, Lynn O'Hare's daughter, Vicky?
Yeah.
And they said to her before they went on, he said, "What happens if you drop a Pom?" And Vicky was like,
"Yeah,
it's never happened before."
No.
As if like that was going to be like a thing that happened.
You don't drop a Pom, yeah? How do you drop a Pom?
Yeah.
But it happens.
Well, it does happen. I know, but obviously, it's something that you don't envision that's going to happen, or you don't like say on the entry line. It's like common knowledge of I drop me back and what happens, and you're like, oh yeah, you just lose, half a point or 0.2, whatever, and it's like, oh, what happens if I drop me Pom? And you're like, I don't think that's. To my knowledge, I don't think that's happened. But but it does, do you know what I mean? And like when it does happen, there's nothing worse.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, no, I think like if you're happy with everything, I'm more than happy. I've enjoyed reminiscing and being able to, even if it's just virtually, I've definitely missed our annual catch up.
That picture you sent of me sitting in the front of the van a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh no.
I know. I've missed onion rings, pizza, chips, ice cream.
Yeah, we'd have a good scoff, wouldn't we?
Yeah. We'd have a good scoff and be scratching our heads at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, hang on a minute, and then you've got Carrie, Miss Bloody Eagle Eye.
Oh yeah, she
You've missed the score there, and I'd be like,
I know. And you're just there, just looking through it occasionally.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'll just go and put the chips on instead.
So yeah,
we wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
No, we definitely wouldn't. So yeah, well, thank you very much for agreeing to do this, and hopefully we'll all be together very soon.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Fingers crossed.
Thank you very much there to Lisa Thomas. I really hope you've enjoyed episode 4 as much as we have talking about it. I just want to say that I'm thankful to everyone who's been doing the whole buy me a coffee. You've really enabled us to do this live stream, and we're doing it. We're absolutely doing it, whatever it takes. But we still need donations. So if you can spare 1 coffee, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you can do, it will be greatly appreciated by us both. And I just want to say, if you can again, please donate what you can. It doesn't have to be a mega amount. £3 goes a long way. But you have enabled us to do this live stream, but we still want to carry on doing the podcast, and we'll be able to do that with the donation. So thank you once again. Talking about the live stream, Sunday, the 20th of December, I'm happy to announce that my special guest has been confirmed. No spoilers just yet, but I will be doing a little teaser of who this person will be. But we are definitely in for a treat, and I can't wait for you to see how we lay out this new episode. Speaking of Christmas and a time to be joyful, we're going to plan something different for New Year. We're going to have a group discussion. So not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not even 5, more than 5. We're all going to have a bit of a round table kind of in conversation style chat, debate, however you want to call it. But I'll be releasing more information about that coming soon. I'll probably talk about it in the live stream as well. But thank you very much for watching once again. I personally would just like to say a little thank you to my main man Steve, who's behind the camera. He does all the editing and he does all of the... He just does everything that you don't see. And I'm really, really thankful to him. And I'm also thankful to Stage UK, who are enabling us to take this podcast that one step further. And I'm extremely thankful for everything they're doing for us. And again, we're only able to do this via the donations that you guys keep giving to us. So thank you very much. If you've been amazing enough to watch this outro all the way to the end, thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will definitely see you Sunday, 20th of December, live in conversation with